It's still a dark and stormy night, but I think I can manage, even though I already had a girlfriend, but she did leave me. I'm sorry, that was a little awkward, but I do believe it's time we go punch crime in the face. This is Arkham Twin Days. Hi there, viewers. I am Leo Wolverine, your game commentator and founding member of Leo's Let's Plays Alliance, as I'm going to finish my story topic, hopefully, or continuing on progress of Batman Begins movie story from that was created back in 2005. Okay. So, as I remember that he was out at night looking for kicks, and someone was passing around the weaponized hallucinogens, and the antidote is going to inoculate him. And so, Bruce Wayne has gotten a visit, a special visit, and that is Rachel Dawes. So, he's finally able to meet Rachel Dawes and tells him how are things doing. And yes, and well, she says everything is dandy. Perhaps I'm just making this up, but however, she couldn't find the DA, who's been missing since last night. So her suggestions that she would start looking at the bottom of the river, and couldn't be more right if she was. Well, guess what? She's right. It is just a matter of time. Oh, by the way, she says, "Happy birthday, Bruce," and gives him a present. And guess what the present says? Finders keepers. I don't know who's the handwriting of that, but if it is Christopher Nolan or someone else, that would be a great Easter egg send off of, from Tim Burton's handwriting that says "put this on," which is Tim Burton's handwriting. Of course, he's not in the Dark Trilogy movies, okay? So be thankful, or I don't know, whichever works best. So yeah. And it's an Arrowhead, so he decides to get back into action, into the bat suit, and Alfred says, "Folks will be arriving in the mansion. What am I supposed to do?" And Bruce Wayne says, "Tell them the joke, yeah." So he has to make up stories as much as he goes. So he has to go back down to the cave, opens up a specialized piano keys password. So yes. So he has to open it up. So he's now into the bat suit. Rachel Dawes finally gets to meet Dr. Jonathan Crane. There's this talk in the chat about what's in this and that about Carmine Falcone, that he never had a history of a mental breakdown, which he never had it once and never had it at all. So the dispute is going on. And so Rachel Dawes wanted to find out what Dr. Jonathan Crane what he diagnosed with him, and what stasis is he in, and he wants, and also she wants blood work, and also called one of her workers about which, and Dr. Crane says, "I'll start doing tomorrow," and she says, I just called one of my workers right now, and they say they want it immediately." And Dr. Jonathan Crane says, "Very well then." And so for that matter, and yeah, And Dr. Jonathan Crane shows where exactly is the where the fear toxin is at. He says, "This is where we make the medicine. Perhaps you should have some to clear your head." Yeah, and Rachel Dawes runs away, and she doesn't want to have any part of this, and she runs away, and then I'm pretty sure this is a part it's like where Vicky screams. It's just, yeah, I wonder if that works with Katie Holmes. I guess it does. I mean, it's really hunky-dory. Oh. It is just awesome. I mean, of course, yeah, when Vicky screams, it's Katie Holmes screams or Rachel Dawes. And then Scarecrow tries to use this interrogation method about who sent who. And yeah, she has no idea who sent him. I mean, really? I mean, is he gonna get answers? I mean, come on. This is just making me sad, of course. So, yes. And now she's been diagnosed, concentrated dose of fear toxin of a weaponized hallucinogen. And Batman comes out in the darkness, but you don't know where he is. And guess what? So it is going to be an epic fun battle. So guess what? It is going to be so fun. Everybody, yeah, he's gonna scare the crap out of criminals. Oh boy. So, so, I wonder how will that work. He spooks everybody. The lights are off. He says, they say that he disappeared, or they say he's a demon, or he can't be killed. They say he flies, and Jonathan Crane says, "Well, we'll find out now, won't we?" And so they're going to find out the hard way.
He's the guy who made our lives hell for as long as I can remember. That's the important.
So, yes, and guess what? He is going to scare everybody, including Dr. Jonathan Crane is going to put fear toxin again, but this time Batman is ready for him. Very much. So, yeah. So he is going. So, yes. And he also said, okay, now Dr. Jonathan Crane's defeated, but before he goes down for the count, he said, Batman says, "Taste of your own medicine, Doctor." And he sprays him with this concentrated dose of fear toxin right in front of Dr. Crane's face. And Batman says, "Who are you working for?" And Dr. Jonathan Crane says, Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is dead. Who are you working for? Crane! And he says, "Dr. Crane isn't here right now. But if you want to make an appointment." Yeah, and he's kind of scared out of his wits because he has no idea. It's just wow. It's a spooky figure that how the people from Warner Brothers, including Legendary Pictures, had been given this bat looking like a demon, which is kind of, oh my gosh. The movie, I know the movie was average, but that was scary, frightening, of how Batman would be terrifying as the creature of the night, because he's using this monster to save other people just like his father did. So yes. And then he has to save Rachel Dawes. He has to, or else she's going to suffer a panic-inducing toxin where she'll suffer a hallucinogenic nightmare by seeing things that are not real, but they think it's real, but it's not, because it is all in her head because of the weaponized of hallucinogens, which is so potent. It's just very much. Oh, it's just, I find it funny. Oh, it's just pretty peachy and dandy. And you know, okay, now there's a racing scene. Of course, Jim Gordon has to take Rachel's dolls down to the first floor, and then Jim Gordon says, "What is that?" And Batman says, "Back up." And then a swarm of flying bats surrounding the police and the SWAT team. We're gonna go up the stairs, and then, you know, because Dr. Jonathan Crane asked his people to call the cops or call the police, and the Batman does have a talent for disruption. Of course, he always has to play one step ahead of the bad guys, including the Doctor himself. And so for that, he was able to do that. Usually, So now that Jim Gordon is in the clear with Rachel Dawes carrying him in his arms, taking her down the stairs because she does not live long. She's not going to live long enough, and she's fine. And now finally, Batman is down there and able to. Yeah, the fantastic music comes up, and it's just, oh wow! You cannot comprehend the music of Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. Is just absolutely unbelievable. Yes, I loved it, and it was fantastic, and it's so hunky-dory, and I am not ashamed of saying hunky-dory, and it's so more than dandy. It is, oh wow, what is the word I'm looking for? Fantastic or stupendous or oh, I got it. Majestic. Very majestic. So yeah, majestic is the word I'm looking for. That has a great ring to it. Majestic. And now Jim Gordon brought her down, and he says he doesn't have long, and I'll go get my car. And Batman says, I brought mine. And Jim Gordon says, yours? And yeah, he has the Batmobile, which is, you know, the tumbler. And Batman, and you know, and Jim Gordon says, I gotta get me one of those. It's awesome! Wow, and so do I. I always wanted to have a tank like this, but only it was the tumbler. Of course, this is not the tumbler, if you want to know, so it's not the tumbler. Sorry. And so for that matter, it's, the chase begins. So he didn't have the time to observe the rules of the road, try to get there as fast as he could, and he goes on. He's not on the street. He's jumping on rooftops, is what the cops are saying. Because why? He doesn't have that much time to look at the rules of the road. Jumping off rooftops, the tumbler boosts itself, or the Batmobile boosts into a rampless jump, and it absolutely worked. So he is able to get there in time and is able to go back to the mansion. Of course, that's to run the officers off the road because he didn't have the time to look at the rules of the road because Rachel was in danger and she does not want to be passed away. Of course, Batman wants to see her live to fight another day, of course. And so for that happens, she is given an antidote. And then, of course, she was this close about to dying of that of that fear toxin, which is a weaponized hallucinogen, which is in aerosol form. And no, she's not been hanging on to the wrong clubs. It's because she was in the worst possible place at the worst possible time. And so, for that matter, thanks to Batman's quick thinking, right, she is safe. And she wakes up and finds she's in a Batcave. And she says, where am I? Who are you? And like, you were poisoned. Is Gordon your friend? Is Gordon? Wait, you have any friends, or is Gordon your friend? And and Batman says, I don't have the luxury of friends. And he says, I'll give you a sedative. You'll wake up back. When you wake up back at home, give this to Gordon, and Gordon alone. Trust no one. And does Gordon, and where's Dr. Crane? Says, relax, Gordon has Crane. And, he did mention about, remember what back in the movie said, Jim Gordon said, who is he working for? And he says, he mentioned someone else, someone worse. And he tells her to get her downstairs, meet me at the alley on the narrow side, and he did. And now, as Bruce Wayne is finally sedated Rachel Dawes, so he has to tell Alfred to take her home, and he tells about everything about not having the regulation of the rules of the road, and he didn't have the time for the regulation of the rules of the road because Rachel was dying, and she was this close to dying because of the weaponized hallucinogen and aerosol form, which is the fear toxin. And so, people are celebrating Bruce's birthday inside the mansion. They sing this happy birthday song. And one of the guests says, now, Bruce, there's someone who'd like you to meet. And here it is. And this elderly woman says, now, am I pronouncing this right, Mr. Ra's al Ghul? And Bruce Wayne stops, and he hears that name. So he turns around slowly. Well, turns around like normal. Like a normal slow motion. Not like slow motion. Just like normal turning with, like, think of it as like a bat turn. Or some sort of, bat turn. And he said, you're not Ra's al Ghul. I watched him die. And then you hear Deckard's voice and saying, but is Ra's al Ghul immortal, or are his methods supernatural? And Bruce says, or cheap parlor tricks to conceal your true identity, Ra's. And Yeah, he kind of, yeah, he knows. Wearing a cape flying through tops wouldn't begrudge me on dual identities. And yeah, Bruce Wayne doesn't want these people to have any part with him, or else this is going to be a big trouble match. He says, "Your quarrels with me, you let these people go." And Ra's al Ghul says, "You're welcome to explain the situation to them." Oh, really? Because if what he meant by saying that is because because the situation, he wants to have an audience. No, he does not want to have an audience. No, because if he finds out that everybody knows he's Batman, this is going to be a very bad situation, and there's no way he's going to rescue all of it in Wayne Manor, so he has to find a way to get rid of these people by saving their lives, even if it means try to mock them by saving their life, by not having been part of Ra's al Ghul's insidious plot and plan. And so, for that matter, guess what? Well, Bruce Wayne is going to get his just desserts. Ra's al Ghul, yeah, that's, Henry Ducard. Now it's Ra's al Ghul, so yeah. He says, "Amusing, but pointless. None of these people have the will to live. Your antics at the asylum have forced my hand." And yeah. And so Dr. Crane is working for you. I know he's not a member of the League of Shadows. And yeah, he's right. And Ra's al Ghul says he was able to weaponize the flower back in the mountains. But he says, "But seriously, you are going to release the poison to the entire city." And yeah, he is smart, very smart. And Dr. Crane believes that he can hold this city for ransom, but Ra's al Ghul knows better than that. So yeah, he knows better. Because that doesn't. He knows holding a ransom may kind of work, but he wants to burn. But Ra's al Ghul wants the city of Gotham to be burned to the ground. And so, for that matter, there's only one way to stop. To try to stop. He has to go to the water supply to evaporate it in the water of the water main, so that runs under the Narrows in Arkham Asylum. He did say the League of Shadows has been in corruption for thousands of years. We sacked Rome, we sacked Rome, loaded ships with plagued rats, and burned London to the ground. And he says every time a city reaches its decadence, we are here to restore the balance. He says you attacked Gotham, and he did say you attacked Gotham before, and he said of course. The ones who were trying to stand up for themselves is Bruce's parents. So the League of Shadows tried something new, economics. So he was able to. Wow, I didn't know I could blow those up. So he was able to. Yeah, like I said, he was able to weaponize, and they do not like, the League of Shadows do not like idealists very much, especially ever since what happened back in Nepal or Tibet or China. And Bruce, And yes, the city tries to rise itself up, tries to rise or get its back on its own 2 feet again. Ever since Martha and Thomas Wayne died by some punk with a gun, and Gotham has limped on ever since. And he says we're back to finish the job, and no misguided idealist would stand in the way. And so for that, he says, if anybody tries to get into our way, you just simply walk up behind them and stab them in the heart. And so for that, he's able to walk behind them and stab them in the heart. But not really though, so he didn't, and he says, I'm gonna stop you, and you didn't never learn your mind your surroundings, and then this big log fell on him, and then because everything is on fire, because they set the mansion on fire because of the League of Shadows. You burned my house and left me for dead. Consider us even. And I do believe we are going to stop here for the time being, and I'm going to finish up the last of the story of Batman Begins of the 2005 movie. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and tell me what do you guys think of Arkham Twin Days, whether it's loved or hated by viewers, and mash that like button if you guys love Arkham Twin Days. So for anyways, this is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being who takes chances, makes mistakes, and get messy in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. See you guys next time for more of Arkham Twin Days.